Hello everybody, welcome back. Today is June 18th. We're doing business and security stories for your hump day. And as a reminder, we have new merch items in the store, store.level1text.com. That's our merch plug. Okay, now we're done.
You broke continuity there because last episode you pretended to drink out of that. And now you just turned it upside down.
Well, maybe he drank all of it between. When we were, every time that there was a news story up on the screen, Wendell frantically drank out of it.
There would have been something left in it because of surface tension. Busted. Here's some bad news. You know what? You should get a mug now because you probably won't have any money in a couple of years.
2020 is on course to be the weakest decade for global economy since the 1960s, according to the World Bank. Gee, I wonder why.
Gestures broadly.
Well, I mean, they
a lot of reasons.
They blame the tariffs.
I mean, that didn't help.
But I think AI probably at least equally. And then, of course, now we have this live update here on this article. Don't read it.
By the time they see that, that's the thing that's so crazy. I feel like it used to be okay, we do a week's worth of stories and that's enough time. And now it's everything is just accelerating. It's so fast.
It's moving at the speed of AI. Which, make no mistake, is how they got those targets.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. But here is one of those instances where I believe AI was also probably responsible here because guess what? Human capital, it's on the way down. It's flash crashing.
Google continues cost-cutting tactic of throwing cash at employees to leave. This is just.
I read this headline as trash at first.
It's just an easier way to deal with employees.
So it was ads and search and the big ones. And yeah, a lot of people are getting generous offers to be fair, but that's, where are you going to go after that job? Who's hiring right now?
Up to 14 weeks of severance.
You're building your competitor, I guess. That's kind of scary, isn't it? That you could have someone build a competitor.
I didn't get the impression that a lot of these roles were being replaced by AI, but I got the impression that especially the ad and some of those roles definitely could be replaced with AI tools.
Well, you know who's not a competitor in that field because their AI sucks, and they're trying desperately to make it a thing.
TechCrunch's headline is Apple is letting developers tap into its offline AI models. So Apple wants you to write applications in the App Store that use the hardware on the iPhone to run small models locally. So you don't depend on the cloud or connectivity or anything like that to be able to do certain kinds of tasks. Mostly retrieval augmented generation is what Apple's Federici, is that how you say his name, was talking about. But, the sky's the limit for innovative apps because they're trying to give developers reasonable access to the hardware.
Problem is, 90% of the time, 90% of the use cases, that phone is going to be connected to the cloud. And there's a way more powerful AI waiting there to do things. So
that's not Apple's.
Yeah. And YouTube, they might be backing off, so they claim, on the, heavy hand of censorship. But they are going to get their money back in another way.
YouTube shuts down ad blockers, the ad blocker loophole, and tightens restrictions. And I can tell you that if you have YouTube Red and you watch this and other programs, that pays significantly better than ad placement.
I noticed that every video now I get the little pop-up. It's are you experiencing interruptions? Yeah, it's because you're messing with trying to...
I'll say, I noticed that. So I set up a thing in my ad blocker that was don't show me shorts because I can't be clicking through those. Mm-hmm. And it was working for a few weeks and then it just came back. Oh. So now I'm seeing the ads for that again. They got around it somehow.
Ads, it seems, maybe are paying less. Maybe the attention span of the people is dropping. I mean, certainly the brain rot kids. How much can you actually get from them for ads? So the answer is not to do something innovative. No. Just cram more.
Amazon has doubled the Prime Video ads to 6 minutes per hour, up from 3 minutes per hour just 18 months ago. They're we're not going to do this. And here they are doing that.
10% of your entertainment life if you're watching everything on Amazon. Think about that.
We're just back to cable.
Except cable didn't spy on me.
Yeah, that's true.
It was One Direction. And speaking of bad things that people are embracing, I'm so disappointed in all of you.
The headline is Nintendo's Nightmarish virtual game cards make the switch to a DRM minefield. There's a lot to unpack in this article. You probably should just go read the article. But basically, Nintendo has made it so terrible that even if you own more than one copy of a game to try to make it easier on yourself, you literally can't in the in the Nintendo ecosystem. Why do I keep saying Nvidia?
We'll start then.
Also, Nintendo's getting really kind of handsy and possessive with your save files.
That was the story that stood out to me in this article. I felt bad for that guy.
Yeah.
So if you have a Switch and a Switch 2, they want them to be together, like in the same spot to be able to like recognize that you own both. And if you happen to be traveling or something and you can't get to the other one, the only way to play your games is to basically send the kill switch to the old Switch. And when you do that, yeah, all your saves go away. It doesn't move them first. It destroys the old Switch, and then it gives you access to the virtual game card so you can reinstall on the Switch 2.
The whole reason that I've done Herculean things to preserve my old ROMs is literally to preserve my old save games. Like the whole thing that it's like, if I'm going to play it for nostalgia, I want to play it in the state that I left the game in. Like, come on.
Best we can do is a new install. Sorry about all your unlocks.
Now, if you were to believe the Spanish or Italian governments, you would think that the world of piracy has never been more powerful, and it's just bedlam, and we have to crack down on it. We have to control DNS to keep these people in line, but maybe the numbers are not quite that.
Pirate site visits dipped to 216 billion a year, but manga piracy is booming, according to Torrent Freak.
It was written work. I mean, the TV shows are still up there, but the written work is growing insanely. Publishing.
You think that's AI companies?
Probably.
No, I'll tell you what it is. It's the fact that everything coming out of TV and movies is garbage these days. Who wants to see that trash?
I'm sure there's still a handful of good shows out there, but I don't want to take a chance on them because either it'll go down the crapper after a while, or they'll cancel it before it starts to really pick up.
Yeah, I mean, even shows I've been mildly interested in, I just started ignoring, and then after a couple of years, I'll think maybe someday I'll go back and watch that, and it's like, oh no, that was canceled in the middle.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, that was a good decision then. So why would I ever invest time in it?
And why would you invest time in trying to form human relationships when we live in a world where that has just been poisoned at every level, and one man has a unique idea?
Wired's headline is an experimental new dating site matches singles based on their browser histories.
Who would ever submit their browser history to outside scrutiny, to anybody?
They outline their security practices here, and it's some okay ideas, but yeah, I'm with you. That's an insane thing to do.
I love my husband. I wouldn't want him to see my browser history.
I think there's
I just Google random crap all the time.
But here's the thing. The other person doesn't see your browser history.
Right, but they do.
Yeah. And eventually, hackers do.
Yeah.
And Nvidia is going to conquer the world. They are probably the most powerful entity on the planet after some world governments, maybe right now.
Think about how much of the world GDP they are directing at this point, directly or indirectly.
And they are looking to expand.
Nvidia is building the world's first industrial AI cloud, a German facility to leverage 10,000 GPUs, DGX B200s, and RTX Pro servers. This is for Germany's manufacturing facility. And so this is a kind of a sovereign project for Germany and the industrial world toward digital twin and modeling things in the computer before things are ever built or manufactured.
Which they are calling AI factories. They have a system where they will help you build your AI factory, and they've apparently made it very easy to do that. But also, you could preview your AI factory in the cloud using this same technology.
It was a Hyundai at GTC. They had a demo of Hyundai doing this to manufacture ships, and they supposedly took an 18-month timeline for ships and turned it into like 6 months.
And it's working. They're winning.
Nvidia secures 92% of the GPU market share in Q1 of 2025.
What does the rest look like? Well, it's only 8%, but they're trying.
AMD is advancing AI 2025 Megathread. This is on Reddit. I did this one. There's a lot of... So AMD just had their advancing AI thing. I was there. There's a video on that. You should check it out. They showed what they're doing on the roadmap, and we see AMD at the rack scale for the first time with their Helios rack, which is a giant GPU of racks. The most important, I think, competitive differentiators for Nvidia is they've got 1.5 times as much memory, so that's pretty awesome. And their cost per AI token, they say, is about 40% of Nvidia's. So that's a pretty good cost savings.
But none of that matters if you can't power it, which is why every week we have a new headline like this.
Reuters headline is Talen Energy and Amazon sign a nuclear power deal to fuel data centers. You read this article and you think that Amazon is really upset that they didn't get the idea to restart 3 Mile Island.
And what will you be spending your money on this holiday season? Well, maybe a Switch 2, but you shouldn't buy that.
MREs.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of ways you can spend your money other than this, but that's not what people are going to do. Maybe consider this instead, although, I mean, this, it's not that much better, but it's better than Nintendo.
ROG Xbox Ally handheld gaming devices are real, and they're going to be released during the 2025 holiday season. So this is Microsoft finally responding to the Steam Deck, which has been an unbridled success, far beyond anybody's expectations. And so this is Xbox, but in a handheld, but with game streaming from Windows also, Windows 11 on a handheld. So maybe this isn't going to be terrible.
And it's big. Look at that. It's a monster.
The Steam Deck was pretty chunker too.
It runs like the Xbox app, but it also runs Steam and Epic and most of the other game stuff. That's what you're into. It runs Windows 11, so you can do what you want. Of course, it means it's going to spy on you.
Of course. They have to advertise to you.
Right. And Apple is, it's an end of an era. They are going out on their own, and this is more bad news for our friends at Intel.
Apple will end support for Intel-based Macs next year, and macOS 27 will require Apple Silicon. I don't think Apple has sold Intel-based Macs in a while. Certainly everybody that has an Intel-based Mac already knows that Apple has effectively abandoned them, so I don't think this comes as a surprise to anybody.
Well, now it's official. They're broken up. They're going to change their Facebook status. Yeah. And the Xbox is it's out there, and like every major console these days, it's insanely expensive. But it gets even more expensive when you consider that Call of Duty is like 160 gigs or 200 if you have all the DLC. Doom is 100 gigs. You run out quickly, and it's expensive to expand.
Seagate's new 4 terabyte Xbox expansion card costs more than the Xbox Series S. $499, $500 basically. And that's with a $70 discount. But $100 a terabyte is kind of expensive in this market.
But it's Xbox branded. You can trust it. And unfortunately, the Switch 2, as horrible as they are as a company, you have all gobbled it up. Congratulations.
Barron's headline is Nintendo has broken its hex. The Switch 2 is a winner. They
sold more than even they anticipated.
A lot of the positivity is
toxic.
Yeah, a lot of the positivity around the Switch 2 is actually to do with old Switch 1 games. People are playing Switch 1 games on the Switch 2 and saying it's so much faster, it's more responsive, this is amazing, that's how the Switch 2 should have been. Those of us that have been playing those games on, say, like, Steam Deck, it's like, oh, this is fast and amazing and enjoyable. But now it's fast and amazing and enjoyable on the Switch 2.
Now, if you ever go on Amazon and you're shopping for certain kinds of electronics, you know that it's just a minefield of Chinese companies whose names you've never heard of and make no sense. And you don't know what to get. And sometimes it can be dangerous. And there was one shining beacon of light. There was one company that it felt like we could trust. Well,
it's very disappointing from Anker. Anker is recalling over 1.1 million power banks due to fire and burn risks.
I actually had not this exact one, but I had one like this, and I was afraid I was caught up in it. But I don't have the same model number.
That's not the whole run. It's a certain set of serial numbers.
You should check because these are dangerous. There's a recall.
And that would be a real way to ruin a hiking trip. Is if your bag
being on fire.
Yeah.
Most trips, I think, would be ruined by being on fire, whatever trip it is. And here's an interesting thing, because this sounds good, right? But when you read the details, there's a lot of personal customization here, which means there's a lot of personal data. I wonder what they might do with that data.
2026 Volvo X60 debuts its new seatbelt design that adapts to you.
Asterisk, not tested on women.
So basically, your weight distribution and your height and some other things, the seatbelt adjusts.
I think they probably did test on women because it's all about what your size is.
Right.
And you get less stopping power if you're smaller. I guess that's less whiplash. Is that how that works?
One of the demo images was definitely a pregnant lady.
That's actually like a big thing when people talk about like design of everyday things. A lot of stuff's not designed for women or pregnant women.
Remember back in the 90s, you don't remember this, but back in the 90s there was this belief that wearing a seatbelt, just a lap belt, because cars back in those days, especially the back seat, didn't have the shoulder strap. And they're like, no, I don't wear seatbelts because I heard that cut somebody in half.
My family often repeated that.
Really?
Well into the early 2000s. Eventually, it faded away.
It might have happened, but the times that it happened versus the times that it kept people from flying out the windshield is probably pretty extreme ratio.
The insane YouTube videos where a car rolls and somebody just goes thoop, out of the side window.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, here's a question. If you were to buy a very large, expensive item because of appearance or, some sort of belief that you think it represents something, are you allowed to change your mind because it starts representing something else?
French Tesla customers file lawsuit over branding becoming extreme right symbol because Tesla. I think they'll probably be successful because didn't this happen with Hugo Boss?
But this is insane.
You can't anticipate that. Like, that's not something that's reasonable to anticipate.
It's a car. Who cares?
Yeah.
It still functions. I mean, it's a crappy car in my opinion. But you didn't think that when you bought it. You didn't not buy it because it's a crappy car. You just didn't buy it because people are looking at you a different way now. And this is just some research that reinforces something that I think we're all pretty aware of.
Can't stop, quote unquote. Researchers say problematic smartphone use is like an addiction. It absolutely is.
So this lady right here wrote the paper, or maybe they just studied her, but
she kept clicking the empty space where the Facebook icon was supposed to be. And it's like,
So she cut it off. She was like, okay, I understand it's bad for me, like cigarettes, and I'm going to get rid of it. But then she would just habitually.
You've never done that, right? Where you get on the internet, you get on your desktop, and then it's like you get off of it, and it's like, let me look at what's happening on the tiny internet on my phone.
Yeah, it's a crazy, any kind of social media. Like the most I do is Reddit.
Right.
But I do get in that part where I'm like, what am I doing here? I'm just scrolling.
Mindlessly.
That's the brain rot.
I find that I get sucked into like, oh, something terrible is going on somewhere else in the world, but there's no news being reported on it, like that counterattack. And it's like, oh, I should go try to figure out how serious this actually is. Is this hyperbolic or is this?
Should I be concerned, even though I live, a world away?
Yeah,
you should.
Yeah.
You're not out of reach. And Apple, yes, they have decided for a new design paradigm.
Apple's new design language is Liquid Glass, aka Windows Vista.
This has been going around in the user experience subs that I'm a part of, and their legibility, the accessibility, it's just non-existent.
The thing about those icons is, like, at a glance, they're all the same, right?
Right. Well, and I mean, even apart from that, like, there's an example here. Like, you can't even see the subtitle.
That's tough, yeah.
Like, if you're someone who's colorblind or needs some sort of accessibility tool, it's just completely...
That text is not changing color when a dark color is behind it.
No, it's awful. Also, my other favorite thing that I heard that I think is a conspiracy theory, but probably a true one, is that because like it adapts, like apparently with how you move your screen, some people are calling this is like a stealth nerf to old devices, so you have to buy a new Apple device because it'll slow down.
I would believe that.
Yeah, I would also believe that.
That's a happy accident.
Yeah, that's the real reason.
You know what I did?
I don't know. What did you do?
I put social twice.
Oh, no.
Instead of security.
Oh,
so why don't you guys...
Fill the dead air.
Yeah.
Don't forget we have a Links with Friends channel. You should go sub there.
Yes, that will be going live. Well, I mean, it's live now, but like we will be moving this program to that very soon. So if you want to keep getting updates there, you should go sub there.
I made a delicious pot of tea earlier.
How long ago? How old is the tea?
3 hours,
Oh, it's not bad.
4 hours.
It's not stale.
No, the good Taiwanese tea, it's actually better the second day.
Like
It's
a curry.
It's just, yeah, it just percolates overnight or whatever. It's good. It's good stuff.
We're back. So,
Seamless. You didn't even notice.
yes, social media. That's what we were supposed to switch to. And boy, is there a doozy to start out with, because Facebook, now we all know that Facebook has faced how many lawsuits about the Pixel?
The
Just
tracking pixel.
an insane number. And we learned from
We
those
built it
lawsuits.
too good. We can't turn the tracking off.
We learned from those lawsuits that it's everywhere. Like even hospitals and doctors' offices were like, of course we have the Facebook Pixel. Why wouldn't we? Now, Facebook,
Wait.
yeah, Facebook has always claimed it's like, no, that is anonymized data. So don't worry. You know, it's not like we're looking at you specifically. Now, empirically, we all knew. You know, you'd say a
Deep
word
down.
and then you'd see the ad. Well, now we have proof.
Localhost tracking explained it could cost Meta $32 billion
And probably made them a lot more.
because it's they're literally tracking everything. And Localhost they're exploiting Localhost and WebSocket connections to be able to track things through Localhost.
So when you hit that page with the Pixel, the Pixel's not tracking you. That's true. But it's exploiting things to send more information back to Meta from your device, which is then married to the Pixel's record of your visit. So it's able to put them back together after the fact, which is the same as just spying on everything you do. And the fact that they went to so much trouble to get that to work is pretty damning, right?
Yeah.
A good court, a good judge will crucify them for this. Now, the reason I came up with that 32 billion number is this violates every European. It's GDPR, DSA, and DMA. It violates all of them. So if you max out the fines, that's the 32 billion.
We think Meta thought it was okay because they were marrying the data on external systems, but that still doesn't make it okay.
And you know, the recent news, if you've been paying attention to it, there were some very precision strikes that went down. How did they know where everybody was? Well, there is one technology that could tell them about that we've learned they are using in another part of the world. They wouldn't know that it was in that part of the world. But guess what? It's coming to our part of the world too, and it's getting expanded.
Palantir's collection of disease data at the C.D.C. stirs privacy concerns. Why do we need disease data and public health data aggregated in this massive database on all U.S. citizens?
Because United Health wants it.
That's weird. Why does United Health? That United Health?
Some people are raising the alarm. I don't think it's going to matter. I think they're going to get it. And Paragon is a spyware company, and they have always assured us that they would never work with governments to suppress things like journalism. That's not what they're in the business of doing.
Researchers confirmed 2 journalists were hacked with Paragon's spyware, including one that Apple had previously reported their device was compromised in another way.
Italian journalists who had, interestingly enough, been working on corruption stories about the Italian government.
Weird how that happens.
That doesn't sound innocent. That definitely sounds like we should turn a state-controlled, state-sponsored level of spying and control on figuring out what they're up to and who their contacts are. The bad thing is that these journalists will have compromised their sources without realizing it.
Now, the good news is they're probably not going to turn that kind of surveillance machine on you unless you are a journalist who can disrupt their, power plays and stuff. And it's not going to happen to just rank it. Like if you're a student, right? It's not going to happen to you if you're the student.
University of Michigan has ended its undercover surveillance contracts after Guardian revelations.
It's for student safety, right? Right?
What happens when the Homeland Security shows up and says, hey, we need to get out. We need to deport some of these students. We need that database.
University of Michigan says those are well-paying customers, sir.
So this was people who were in support of that other place where Palantir is operating. And they were very vocal about it, and they didn't like it. The university didn't. So they hired a bunch of undercovers to follow them around. And they weren't very good at their job because they were being made over and over hilariously in these videos that you want to watch. And this guy pretended to be deaf to try to get away from them calling him out on it. And So it turns out that they were spending tuition money to spy on the students. Not sure how that creates value for the other students. Right?
It really doesn't.
And if you're looking at, if you're like me and you've lost all interest in modern TV and movies, well, there's still plenty to watch.
Peep Show. 40,000 IoT cameras worldwide stream secrets to anyone with a browser. So these cheap cameras that you buy and you subscribe and they're connected to a cloud, the RTMP is not super locked down, and a lot of the times they use universal plug and play, and so there's databases you can go to because people scan the internet constantly, and there's 40,000 cameras that are unsecured. You can just watch the stream.
Including medical facilities, which is alarming. Now, if you are planning to go out and spend what little bit of money you have left to secure some hardware before the AI takes over, it's probably a good idea. But if you're buying in a physical store, as soon as you check out, pop that thing open.
Over $90,000 worth of RTX 5090 GPUs have been replaced in box by crossbody backpacks at just one Silicon Valley micro center. And these boxes were sealed. The security seal on the box was intact. So you want to unpack these while you're still at the store. Just make sure that it's okay.
So it's Zotac. And when they started looking into it, Zotac now believes that it might have been at the Chinese manufacturer.
Wow.
Because they were sealed. And Google, of course, requires you to have a phone number on file because, you might need to do a two-factor. You might need to prove who you are. But as usual, the security is not secure.
A researcher figured out how to reveal any phone number linked to a Google account. Google has since patched that, but alarming. Definitely alarming that Google fumbles handling this type of sensitive information.
So they needed your username, which is not the same as your email address. And what they would do is they would use your email address to share a document with you. But then they would break the document by putting too many extended characters into it, which means that you would never get the notification, and then they could hit you with this and brute force your phone number over and over and over until they could get it.
It's a lot of work, but wow.
Yeah, but it's mostly automated. Like you could just let it run. One document is all you have to share with everybody.
Well, that's true.
Then you just let them. AI can take care of that, no problem. And you have another major cyber attack.
United Natural Foods, major U.S. grocery distributor, warns of disruption after cyber attack. This is one of the suppliers for Whole Foods, and they're trying to keep everything running manually, but it seems like their systems have been compromised by like a crypto malware or something like that that does a lot of damage.
Was it ransomware? They're not saying. Did they exfiltrate data? They're not saying. When will it be back? They're not saying.
Fabulous.
Oh, I've lost the mouse.
They're just hoping it blows over by the weekend. We'll just not tell anybody and it'll be fine. Uh-oh, did the mouse finally die?
There it goes.
Oh, no, there it is. It's just so hard to find. And out in California, they have drones, and you might be thinking, oh, yeah, they're spying on the protests. No, this was before then.
California County accused of using drones to spy on residents.
Not that it would be any better to spy on the protesters, but it's especially weird to do it to just random residents.
Now, you might be thinking, well, wait a minute. Lester Black, he's the cannabis editor. What is he writing about security for? Well, it turns out that these started out as cannabis sniffing drones. They were looking for illegal grow operations. It's legal in California, by the way.
Yeah.
But you have to have a license for a certain size of a grow. So it was looking for those. But I guess they found all of those and they had them left over. So they started going after code enforcement. Got a hot tub on your deck that you didn't properly get the license and everything for? Well, guess what? You're going to get something in the mail, and these kind of photos are going to show up. One lady pulled a Freedom of Information. They were looking through this window.
Oh.
The drone was hovering right there.
Maybe this is the redneck in me, but it's amazing that people don't just,
One woman had a ranch. These people, it's hot tubs and, giant properties and stuff. These are rich people. She had an outdoor toilet and shower. And
a toilet and shower?
And they had pictures of it.
I've seen outdoor showers, which makes sense. You have a pool or something, but what do you need a toilet? Huh.
That could be nice on a spring day.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, I guess you would have it for the same reason you'd have the outdoor shower, but I just don't imagine
That would suck.
that would be fun.
That would suck if you're in the middle of that and you get like attacked by a wasp or something.
Yeah. I mean, I spend that time outdoors and have to use the bathroom outdoors, but it's not like the highlight of the trip for me.
I can see that if you spend like 6 or 8 hours in the pool, and it's like, oh, I got to get out of the pool to go to the bathroom. It's like now I don't have to like track water in the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a really specific case.
But when you're rich, you
true.
care about that kind of thing.
Why not? And the FBI has some warning about your Android phone.
BADBOX 2.0 Android malware infects millions of consumer devices. See, mostly not phones. This is mostly like IoT devices that run Android, certain media sticks, things like that, TV sticks. And they're not secure. They never get updates, and they are compromised.
Watch out for that. I bet a lot of cable boxes aren't affected. Oh, it's USA Today. I hate
they got you.
USA Today. But yes, now we have this. Again, this is their surveillance state. They want to control everything you do. They've been wanting to do this for a very long time. It seems like it's actually getting some support now.
New laws punish bad drivers with tech that forces the cars to go the speed limit. Basically, you've been caught speeding or charged with reckless driving. They're going to put a hardware speed limiter on your vehicle that knows where it is, and based on where it is, it knows the speed limit. And so you can't go faster than that.
Right now, this is just reckless driving. But let's project into the future where local governments throughout the country are in a budget crunch because everybody's unemployed and they need to make money somehow. You think maybe they would expand this program?
Oh yeah. Eventually you won't be able to afford to drive. Like you must replace your old non-self-driving car with a self-driving car because you're uninsurable otherwise.
Or install this app and every little, oh, you didn't use your turn signal? Actually, I kind of like that.
Yeah, it turns out, I don't know what it is about where we live specifically, but people here do not use turn signals, and it really makes me annoyed. Anyway, that's it. That's it for this section.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the turn signals. We've also got the upcoming story about all the merchandise they had to get rid of in Costco or Sam's Club or whatever. And it's like, oh, yes, the surveillance state took care of that guy. That guy's not going to be doing anything like that ever again. So,
except he was out on bond.
Well, yeah, that's true. But at the same time, it turns out society's been collapsing this whole time. Perhaps we can use the surveillance state to remove the people that need to not be a part of the collapse.
To accelerate it.
I don't want the interior of my car to be monitored by camera, but I do want people who use their phones while driving to be punished.
It's a kind of a catch-22, isn't it?
Anyway, we'll leave you with that conundrum. See you guys on Friday. Bye!